Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Feel your chest rise and fall, marking time with the ancient rhythm of life itself. Within your skull, behind your peaceful expression, something remarkable is happening. Your brain is not just thinking, it is keeping time. Like a master clockmaker bent over intricate gears, your mind is constantly measuring, tracking, and weaving together the threads of temporal experience. You carry within you one of the most sophisticated timekeeping systems in the known universe. Not the mechanical tick of a grandfather clock, nor the digital precision of an atomic timepiece, but something far more elegant and mysterious. Your brain is a living chronometer, a biological time machine that transforms the flowing river of existence into the structured experience of past, present, and future. Right now, as you listen to these words, billions of neurons are firing in carefully orchestrated patterns, creating your sense of now. But this now is not a simple point in time. It is a construction, a masterpiece of neural architecture that your brain builds anew with each passing moment. The present moment you experience is actually a gentle collection of recent events, woven together into the seamless fabric of conscious awareness. Scientists have discovered that your brain doesn't experience time the way a clock measures it. Instead, it creates time through the intricate dance of neural activity. Your temporal lobe, nestled behind your ear like a sleeping butterfly, houses some of the most important timekeeping mechanisms in your mind. Here in regions with poetic, names like the suprachiasmatic nucleus and the entorhinal cortex, your brain constructs the very foundation of temporal experience. The suprachiasmatic nucleus, no larger than a grain of rice, serves as your body's master clock. This tiny cluster of neurons, tucked deep within your hypothalamus, receives direct signals from your eyes about the presence or absence of light. Like a conductor raising a baton before an orchestra, this master clock synchronizes the countless biological rhythms that flow through your body. But your brain's relationship with time goes far deeper than simply tracking day and night. Every experience you have, every word you hear, every image you see, every emotion you feel, arrives at your consciousness through a complex process of temporal integration. Your brain takes the scattered fragments of sensory information and weaves them into a coherent narrative of experience, creating the smooth flow of awareness that feels so natural and effortless. Consider how you perceive a simple conversation. When someone speaks to you, sound waves travel through the air at roughly 343 meters per second. These waves reach your ears, causing your eardrums to vibrate. These vibrations are converted into electrical signals that race along your auditory nerve to your brain. But here's where the magic happens. Your brain doesn't simply receive these signals passively. Instead, it actively constructs the experience of hearing, creating a unified perception from thousands of individual neural events. This construction process requires exquisite timing. Your brain must coordinate the signals from both ears, account for the slight delay between sound reaching each ear, and integrate this auditory information with visual cues from watching the speaker's lips move. All of this happens in milliseconds, yet your brain makes it seem effortless and instantaneous. The neurons in your brain communicate through electrical impulses called action potentials. These signals travel along your neural pathways at speeds ranging from about 1 meter per second in your smallest nerve fibers to over 100 meters per second in your largest, most insulated neural highways. Your brain contains roughly 86 billion neurons, each connecting to thousands of others, creating a network of staggering complexity. Within this vast network, time emerges through patterns of neural activity. Some neurons fire in steady rhythms, like biological metronomes keeping the beat of consciousness. Others fire in bursts, creating the punctuation marks in the sentence of experience. Still others fire in waves that sweep across regions of your brain like gentle tides, Coordinating. The activity of distant neural communities. Your brain's ability to keep time is not localized to a single region. Instead, it emerges from the coordinated activity of multiple brain networks working in harmony. The cerebellum, nestled beneath your cerebral cortex like a small, wrinkled fruit, plays a crucial role in timing movements and coordinating actions. The basal ganglia, deep within your brain, help time the initiation and completion of behaviors. The prefrontal cortex, behind your forehead, orchestrates the complex timing required for planning and decision-making. Each of these regions contributes to your overall sense of time, but they do so in different ways and on different timescales. Your cerebellum excels at timing events that occur over milliseconds to seconds, a precise coordination needed to catch a ball or speak clearly. Your basal ganglia help time events over seconds to minutes, the rhythm of walking or the pacing of a conversation. Your prefrontal cortex manages longer timescales, the planning required for tomorrow's activities, or the patience needed to work toward distant goals. As you rest here now, your brain is simultaneously operating on all these timescales. It's coordinating the millisecond timing of your heartbeat, the second-by-second rhythm of your breathing, the minute-by-minute fluctuations in your attention, and the hour-by-hour progression of your circadian rhythms. Like a master conductor directing a symphony with instruments playing in different tempos, your brain weaves these various temporal threads into the unified experience of being you. The clockmaker within your mind is not building a simple timepiece. Instead, it is creating something far more sophisticated, a temporal map that allows you to navigate the landscape of time itself. This map includes not just the present moment, but also the memories of your past and the possibilities of your future. Your brain can travel backward through time, revisiting cherished memories with remarkable vividness. It can also travel forward, imagining future scenarios and planning for events that have not yet occurred. This ability to transcend the present moment is one of the most remarkable features of human consciousness. While other animals live primarily in the eternal now, your brain has developed the extraordinary capacity to step outside the flow of time and observe it from a distance. You can remember yesterday's sunset, anticipate tomorrow's challenges, and imagine scenarios that may never actually occur. The neurons responsible for this temporal flexibility are found throughout your brain, but they are particularly concentrated in regions associated with memory and imagination. The hippocampus, a seahorse-shaped structure deep within your temporal lobe, plays a crucial role in forming new memories and imagining future events. When you remember a past experience or imagine a future scenario, many of the same neural networks become active, suggesting that memory and imagination are closely related processes. Your brain's construction of time is not just about organizing events in chronological order. It's also about creating meaning from the flow of experience. The clockmaker within your mind doesn't simply tick off moments like a mechanical device. Instead, it weaves together perception, memory, emotion, and anticipation into rich, meaningful narratives that give shape and significance to your life. As you lie here in the gentle darkness, your brain continues its timekeeping work. It monitors the gradual slowing of your heartbeat, the deepening of your breath, the softening of your muscle tension. It coordinates the complex neurochemical changes that will soon carry you into sleep, where time will take on new and mysterious qualities. The clockmaker within your mind never rests, never stops its careful work of constructing temporal experience. Even as you drift toward sleep, it continues weaving the threads of time, preparing for tomorrow's experiences while integrating today's memories. It is a guardian of your temporal existence, a faithful keeper of the moments that make up your life. And as your consciousness begins to soften at the edges, as the boundaries between waking and sleeping start to blur, you might wonder, if your brain is constantly constructing time, what happens to that construction when you dream? How does the clockmaker within your mind navigate the strange temporal landscapes that await you in sleep, where minutes can feel like hours and impossible events unfold in perfect sequence? Close your eyes and feel the river. Not the rushing waters of a mountain stream, but something far more intimate, the gentle current of time itself flowing through your mind. Right now, as you breathe in this moment, you are standing at the confluence of all rivers, where past and future meet. In the eternal present of your consciousness, your brain, that 3-pound universe nestled within your skull, is mapping time with every heartbeat. In the hippocampus, nestled deep within your temporal lobe like a seahorse curled in neural coral, memories are flowing downstream like leaves on autumn water. Each memory carries its own current, its own story of when and where and how you once stood in other moments, other nows that have become your yesterdays. But time in your mind is not the steady tick of a clock. It bends and curves like a river through landscapes of experience. Remember how summer afternoons stretched endlessly when you were young? Those lazy hours seemed to pool and eddy, time moving so slowly you could almost see it. Now, as an adult, weeks can blur past like rushing rapids, leaving you wondering where the days have gone. As your conscious mind begins to release its grip on the day's events, your brain transforms into a master craftsman, carefully sorting through the treasures of your experience. Every conversation you had, every face you saw, every feeling that moved through you, all of these become precious materials in the construction of your inner world. The hippocampus, that seahorse-shaped wonder nestled deep within your temporal lobe, serves as the chief architect of this nightly construction project. Like a wise curator in a museum of infinite rooms, it examines each experience from your day, asking gentle questions. Which moments deserve permanent preservation? Which emotions carry the seeds of wisdom? Which connections between ideas might bloom into tomorrow's insights? As you breathe slowly and deeply, consider how your memories are not simply recordings, like photographs stored in a box. They are living entities, dynamic and ever-changing, painted with the colors of emotion and shaped by the lens of time. Each time you recall a memory, you are not merely accessing a file, you are actively rebuilding it, adding new brushstrokes of understanding, new layers of meaning that reflect who you have become since that moment first occurred. Tonight, as sleep's gentle tide carries you toward deeper waters, your brain begins its magnificent work of consolidation. This is the process by which your fleeting experiences transform into lasting wisdom. The neurons that fired together during your day now strengthen their connections, creating pathways that will endure long after this night has passed. It is as if your mind is a skilled weaver, taking the scattered threads of daily experience and creating a tapestry of understanding that will warm you for years to condot in the deeper regions of your brain. The process unfolds like a slow, beautiful dance. The prefrontal cortex, that wise council chamber behind your forehead, communicates with the hippocampus in waves of electrical poetry. Together, they decide which memories will be promoted from temporary visitors to permanent residents. In the vast neighborhoods of your mind, the mundane moments, the exact position of your coffee cup this morning, the precise number of steps you took to your car, these fade gently into the background, making room for the experiences that truly matter. But what makes a memory worthy of preservation? Often, it is not the grand moments that your brain chooses to keep, but the subtle ones touched by emotion or meaning. The way afternoon light fell across someone's face during an important conversation, a feeling of accomplishment after solving a small problem, the moment of connection when someone truly understood what you were trying to express. These emotional signatures act like bookmarks, ensuring that these experiences will be available to you when you need them most. As you drift deeper into relaxation, imagine your memories as gentle spirits moving through the corridors of your mind. They are not fixed, solid things, but fluid and adaptable, like water that takes the shape of whatever container holds it. This is why a childhood memory might feel different when you recall it as an adult, not because the facts have changed, but because you have grown, and your understanding has deepened like a river carved wider by time. The process of memory formation is surprisingly social, even when you are alone. Your brain creates connections not just between the facts of an experience, but between the emotions, the sensations, the thoughts that accompanied it. A single memory of a summer evening might connect to the scent of honeysuckle, the sound of distant laughter, the feeling of grass beneath your feet, and the particular quality of light that made everything seem golden. These connections create a web of association so rich and complex that a single trigger, perhaps just the scent of honeysuckle years later, can transport you instantly back to that moment of beauty. During sleep, these connections multiply and strengthen. Your brain rehearses the day's experiences, playing them back in various combinations, finding new patterns and relationships. It is as if your mind is a skilled musician, taking the individual notes of your experience and composing symphonies of understanding. Sometimes, this process reveals connections that were invisible during your waking hours, insights that emerge like flowers blooming in the darkness, ready to greet you when you wake. The architecture of memory is not built for perfect accuracy, but for meaning and utility. Your brain is not a computer storing exact replicas of events, but an artist creating impressions that capture the essence of experience. This is why memories can feel so vivid and true, even when they differ from objective facts. Your mind is preserving not just what happened, but what it meant to you, what it taught you, how it changed you. Consider how your earliest memories are often fragments, an impression of your mother's voice, the texture of a favorite blanket, the way sunlight looked filtering through a window. These fragments are not failures of memory, but its greatest achievements. They have distilled entire experiences down to their emotional essence, preserving not the details, but the feeling, the significance, the way those moments shape the person you are becoming. As you rest here in the growing darkness, your brain continues its patient work of integration. The experiences of today are being woven into the larger story of your life, finding their place in the ongoing narrative of who you are. Each memory becomes a thread in a tapestry so vast and intricate that no single viewpoint can encompass its full beauty. Yet from your perspective, lying here in the quiet, you can sense the wholeness of it, the way each experience contributes to the magnificent complexity of human consciousness. The process of memory consolidation is remarkably similar to the way nature builds its most enduring structures. Just as a tree adds rings of growth season by season, your mind adds layers of understanding experience by experience. Just as a river carves its path through landscape over countless years, your memories carve neural pathways that become the roads your thoughts travel. Just as mountains rise through the slow accumulation of geological forces, your sense of self emerges through the patient accumulation of remembered moments. In this gentle hour, as your body releases the tensions of the day and your mind prepares for the deeper work of sleep, you are participating in one of the most ancient and sacred processes of life. Every creature that has ever lived has faced the challenge of learning from experience, of carrying the wisdom of the past into the uncertainty of the future. Your brain's ability to form and preserve memories is a gift that connects you to the unbroken chain of consciousness that stretches back millions of years. That the memories being formed and strengthened tonight will become the foundation upon which tomorrow's experiences are built. They will influence your decisions, color your perceptions, and guide your responses to new situations. They are not just records of the past, but blueprints for the future, templates that help you navigate the complexity of being human in an ever-changing world. As sleep draws nearer, you might sense the subtle shift in your brain's activity. The urgent chatter of daytime consciousness gives way to the slower, deeper rhythms of memory consolidation. Your mind becomes like a peaceful lake at night, its surface reflecting the stars, while its depths hold currents of integration and understanding. This is the time when creativity flourishes, when unexpected connections emerge, when the true architecture of your experience reveals itself. The gentle architecture of memory is always building, always growing, always becoming more intricate and beautiful. Each night, as you surrender to sleep's embrace, you participate in this ancient construction project, adding new rooms to the cathedral of your consciousness, new bridges between the islands of your experience. And as you drift toward dreams, you carry with you the quiet confidence that comes from knowing your mind is a master builder, creating something beautiful and lasting from the raw materials of your daily life in the soft darkness that surrounds you. Now, your memories are beginning their nightly dance of reorganization and integration, preparing to become the foundation upon which tomorrow's dreams will build their own ephemeral architecture. Close your eyes for a moment and feel the gentle pull of twilight settling around you. Your body knows this feeling intimately, this soft transition from day to night, from alertness to rest. What you're experiencing is not just fatigue, but the culmination of an ancient symphony that has been playing within you since the moment you were born. This is your circadian rhythm, a biological masterpiece that connects you to the very rotation of the earth itself. Deep within your brain, nestled in a region called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, sits a cluster of cells no larger than a grain of rice. These cells form your master clock, the conductor of your body's most fundamental orchestra. Like a metronome keeping perfect time, this biological timekeeper coordinates the rise and fall of hormones, the warming and cooling of your body temperature, the sharpening and softening of your attention. It is a symphony written in the language of molecules, performed by every cell in your body. Imagine, if you will, that you are floating gently above the earth, watching as our planet turns slowly in the cosmic dance it has performed for billions of years. The sun bathes half the world in golden light, while the other half rests in velvet darkness. This eternal rhythm of light and shadow has shaped life on our planet so profoundly that virtually every living thing, from the tiniest bacteria to the mightiest carries within itself an internal clock that mirrors this celestial dance. Your circadian rhythm is nature's way of preparing you for the predictable changes that come with each rotation of our planet. As morning light filters through your window, specialized cells in your eyes detect this illumination and send signals racing along your optic nerves to your brain's master clock. These signals are like the first notes of a symphony, setting the tempo for the day ahead. Your clock responds by orchestrating a cascade of changes throughout your body, raising your core temperature, increasing your heart rate, and flooding your system with cortisol, the hormone that helps you feel alert and ready to face the day. But this is not a harsh mechanical process. Think of it instead as a gentle awakening, like a skilled musician coaxing the first sweet notes from a violin. Your body temperature rises gradually, climbing from its nighttime low of around 96 degrees to its daytime peak of 98.6 degrees. This warming is not just about comfort, it's about optimization. Your cells work more efficiently at this higher temperature, your muscles respond more quickly, and your mind processes information with greater clarity. As the sun climbs higher in the sky, your circadian symphony continues to play its daytime movements. Your blood pressure rises slightly, giving your cardiovascular system the extra push it needs to deliver oxygen and nutrients to your active tissues. Your digestive system awakens, preparing for the meals that will fuel your day. Even your immune system adjusts its activity, ramping up its vigilance against potential threats when you're most likely to encounter them. Throughout the morning and afternoon, your master clock maintains this state of gentle alertness. But it's not a static condition, rather, it's a dynamic balance, constantly adjusting to the subtle changes in light, temperature, and activity that mark the passage of time. Your clock is always listening, always sensing, always preparing for what comes next. As afternoon gives way to evening, something beautiful begins to happen. The quality of light around you changes, becoming softer, more golden. Your eyes detect this shift, and your master clock recognizes the signal. Like a conductor raising his baton for the evening's performance, your circadian system begins to orchestrate the transition from day to night. This is where the magic truly begins. Deep in your brain, a small gland called the pineal gland, no bigger than a pea, begins to secrete a hormone called melatonin. Medieval philosophers called the pineal gland the seat of the soul, and while we now know it's not quite that mystical, there's something almost magical about what it does. As darkness falls, your pineal gland releases melatonin into your bloodstream like a gentle lullaby-made chemical, signaling to every cell in your body that it's time to prepare for rest. Melatonin is often called the hormone of darkness, but this description, while accurate, doesn't capture its true poetry. Think of melatonin as nature's own dimmer switch, gradually turning down the intensity of your body's daytime functions. As it circulates through your bloodstream, it reaches every corner of your being, whispering to your cells that the day's work is done and the time for restoration has begun. Your body temperature begins its gradual descent, dropping degree by degree as the evening progresses. This cooling is not just a side effect of rest, it's an active process, a signal to your body that it's time to shift from the active, energy-consuming processes of daytime to the restorative, healing processes of night. Your heart rate slows, your blood pressure drops, and your breathing becomes deeper and more rhythmic. But the circadian symphony is playing throughout your entire body, not just in your brain. In your liver, the cells that process the day's nutrients begin to shift their focus from energy production to detoxification and repair. Your muscles, which have contracted and expanded thousands of times throughout the day, begin to release their tension and enter a state of recovery. Even your skin, your body's largest organ, begins to increase its rate of cell division and repair, working to heal the small damages accumulated during the day. This is the profound intelligence of your circadian rhythm. It's not just about when you feel sleepy or alert. It's about coordinating the complex interplay of thousands of different processes, each one perfectly timed to support your body's needs throughout the 24-hour cycle. Your kidneys adjust their filtration rate. Your immune system shifts its focus from immediate threats to long-term surveillance. And your endocrine system fine-tunes the release of dozens of different hormones. As you lie here now, feeling the gentle pull of sleep, you're experiencing the culmination of this ancient biological symphony. Your melatonin levels are rising, your body temperature is dropping, and your brain is beginning to shift into the distinctive patterns of activity that characterize sleep. But this is not an ending, it's a transition, a bridge between the active restoration of sleep and the gentle awakening that will come with tomorrow's light. Your circadian rhythm is remarkably resilient, yet also surprisingly sensitive. It can adapt to gradual changes in your environment, but it can also be disrupted by sudden shifts in light exposure, meal timing, or sleep schedule. This is why jet lag feels so disorienting. It's not just that you're tired, it's that your entire internal symphony has been thrown out of sync with the external world. But even when disrupted, your circadian rhythm has an extraordinary capacity for healing and realignment. Like a skilled musician who can find their way back to the melody after a momentary lapse, your body's master clock can gradually retune itself to match the rhythm of your environment. This process, called entrainment, is one of the most remarkable features of your biological timekeeping system. The word circadian comes from the Latin circadies, meaning about a day. But your internal clock is not exactly 24 hours. It's usually slightly longer, running on a cycle of about 24.2 hours. This might seem like a design flaw, but it's actually a feature. This slight difference allows your clock to be gently reset each day by environmental cues, primarily light, ensuring that your internal rhythm stays synchronized with the external world. This daily resetting is crucial because the Earth's rotation is not perfectly consistent. The length of our days varies slightly due to factors like the moon's gravitational pull, atmospheric conditions, and even the distribution of mass on our planet. Your circadian rhythm, with its built-in flexibility, can accommodate these subtle variations, keeping you synchronized with the natural world in ways that a rigid, mechanical clock could never achieve. As you continue to rest here, feeling the warm embrace of your body's natural sleep preparation processes, you're participating in a rhythm that connects you to all life on Earth. The same molecular mechanisms that make you feel sleepy are at work in creatures across the globe, in the flowers that close their petals at night, in the birds that tuck their heads under their wings, in the deep-sea creatures that migrate vertically through the ocean's layers in response to the faint daylight filtering down from above. Your circadian rhythm is also intimately connected to your metabolism and your body's ability to process energy. During the day, when you're active and eating, your body's cells are primed for energy production and utilization. Enzymes that break down glucose are more active. Your insulin sensitivity is higher, and your body is more efficient at converting food into usable energy. As night falls and your circadian system prepares for sleep, these metabolic processes shift focus from energy production to cellular repair and maintenance. This metabolic aspect of your circadian rhythm explains why eating late at night can feel so disruptive. Your digestive system, like every other system in your body, is following its own circadian schedule. When you eat at times when your body expects to be fasting, you're asking your digestive system to work against its natural rhythm, like asking a musician to play a lullaby in the middle of a symphony's energetic finale. The beauty of your circadian rhythm extends beyond just the physical. Your cognitive abilities, your emotional state, even your creativity, all fluctuate according to this internal clock. Your ability to focus and process complex information typically peaks in the late morning and early afternoon, when your cortisol levels are high and your body temperature is rising. Your emotional sensitivity often increases in the evening as your body prepares for the vulnerable state of sleep. And your creativity, interestingly, often flourishes during the transition times, those liminal moments between wakefulness and sleep, when your mind is most open to unusual connections and novel ideas. As the evening deepens and your melatonin levels continue to rise, you may notice that your thoughts become more fluid, more dreamlike. This is not a sign of fatigue. It's a sign of your brain beginning to shift into the distinctive patterns of activity that characterize sleep. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logical thinking and executive control, begins to quiet down, while other regions associated with memory consolidation and emotional processing become more active. This transition is like watching a city change from day to night. The busy streets of daytime consciousness filled with the traffic of active thoughts, decisions, and sensory processing gradually give way to the quieter, more mysterious landscapes of the sleeping mind. Street lamps of awareness flicker on in unexpected places, illuminating memories and ecological well-being. By imagining positive future scenarios, you activate the same neural reward circuits that respond to actual positive experiences. This anticipatory pleasure helps motivate you toward your goals and maintains optimism in the face of current challenges. Conversely, when your brain rehearses challenging future scenarios, it's not trying to create anxiety, it's helping you prepare. By imagining difficult situations in advance, you can develop coping strategies and build emotional resilience. It's like a fire drill for your psyche, preparing you to respond skillfully to whatever tomorrow might bring. The rehearsal process is particularly active during the transition between waking and sleeping. As your conscious mind begins to relax, its grip on the present moment, your brain's natural tendency to wander into the future becomes more pronounced. This is why you might find yourself planning tomorrow's activities or working through upcoming challenges as you drift towards sleep. This future-focused mental activity doesn't stop when you fall asleep. Throughout the night, your brain continues its rehearsal work, processing and integrating your future plans during different stages of sleep. Dreams often contain elements of future preparation, as your sleeping brain works through scenarios and possibilities in its own unique symbolic language. The theater of your mind is always open, always preparing for tomorrow's performance. Each rehearsal strengthens your capacity to meet the future with wisdom, creativity, and grace. As you rest here now, feel the gentle activity of this preparation, the quiet confidence that comes from knowing your brain is working tirelessly to help you navigate tomorrow's possibilities. Your future thinking is not just about practical preparation. It's also about hope and meaning. When you imagine positive future scenarios, you're not just planning, you're creating a vision that draws you forward through time. These imagined futures become beacons of possibility, guiding your choices and actions toward the life you want to create. As your consciousness continues to soften and your breathing deepens, trust in this process of preparation. Your brain knows how to rehearse for tomorrow, how to weave the threads of possibility into a tapestry of readiness. The theater of your mind is staging dress rehearsals for experiences yet to come, and each gentle scenario brings you closer to the wisdom and skill you'll need for whatever tomorrow holds. In this quiet rehearsal, you're not just imagining the future, you're actively creating it, one neural connection at a time. And as your mind prepares for tomorrow's possibilities, it draws upon the vast garden of memories planted deep within your brain, where every experience blooms into wisdom that will guide your journey through time. In the quiet depths of your temporal lobe, there exists a secret garden that no eye has ever seen, yet it holds the most precious treasures of your life. The hippocampus, named for its resemblance to a seahorse when viewed from above, is your brain's master gardener, tending to the delicate blooms of memory with the patience of countless seasons. As you rest here in this peaceful moment, feel yourself walking through the winding paths of this internal garden. The hippocampus is not a single structure, but a complex landscape of neural tissue, curved and folded like terraced gardens that climb the hillsides of your inner world. Each fold contains millions of neurons, each one a potential keeper of a moment, a guardian of an experience that has touched your life. The hippocampus is ancient in ways that speak to the very foundations of who you are. This seahorse-shaped region evolved over millions of years, carrying forward the memories of your ancestor, not their specific experiences, but the capacity to form memories, to learn, to weave the fabric of personal history that makes you uniquely you. It is one of the few places in your adult brain where new neurons are born throughout your lifetime, fresh gardeners arriving to tend the ever-growing landscape of your experience. Picture the hippocampus as a master library with an infinite capacity for stories. But unlike a traditional library with fixed books on unchanging shelves, this is a living archive where each memory is more like a seed that can grow, change, and bloom into new understanding. When you experience something new, the taste of morning coffee, the sound of rain on your window, the feeling of a loved one's hand in yours, your hippocampus doesn't simply file it away. Instead, it plants a seed. These memory seeds are not stored in the hippocampus permanently. Like a nursery that grows saplings before transplanting them to the wider forest, your hippocampus nurtures new memories for weeks, months, or even years before gradually transferring them to the neocortex, where they can take root in the vast neural networks of long-term storage. This process, called systems consolidation, is like watching a garden mature. What begins as a tender shoot in the hippocampus eventually becomes a sturdy tree in the broader landscape of your mind, the garden. Metaphor captures something profound about how your hippocampus works. Real gardens require different conditions for different plants. Some need full sun. Others prefer shade. Some thrive in rich soil, while others grow in rocky ground. Similarly, your hippocampus creates different types of memories depending on the conditions of your experience. Emotional memories, processed with help from the nearby amygdala, grow with particular intensity, their roots reaching deep into your neural soil. Calm, repeated experiences develop differently, growing slowly but steadily, like perennial flowers that return season after season. As you lie here in the quiet of approaching sleep, your hippocampus is preparing for one of its most important tasks, the consolidation of today's experiences. During sleep, this neural garden becomes a place of remarkable activity. While your conscious mind rests, your hippocampus begins replaying the day's experiences, sending them through neural pathways again and again, like a gardener carefully tending to new plantings. This replay happens in fast-forward bursts called sharp wave ripples, sudden surges of electrical activity that sweep through the hippocampus like gentle waves through a pond. These ripples carry the patterns of your experiences, replaying them at speeds much faster than real time, as if your brain is creating time-lapse videos of your memories. A conversation that took 10 minutes to love might be replayed in just a few seconds, over and over, each replay strengthening the neural pathways that will allow you to remember it tomorrow. But the hippocampus doesn't just replay memories, also connects them, weaving together experiences that might seem unrelated at first glance. This is where the garden metaphor becomes even more beautiful. Just as plants in a garden can cross-pollinate, creating new varieties and unexpected combinations, your hippocampus creates connections between memories that can lead to insights, creative breakthroughs, and deeper understanding. The memory you formed this afternoon of sunlight streaming through your window might connect with a memory from childhood of playing in similar light, which might connect with a memory of reading about photosynthesis, which might connect with a moment of joy you felt watching plants grow. These connections don't happen randomly. They follow patterns of meaning and emotion that reflect the unique landscape of your personal experience. This connective process is one of the sources of dreams. As your hippocampus works through the day's experiences, connecting them with older memories, it creates novel combinations that your sleeping mind experiences as dreams. The strange, illogical narratives of dreams often reflect the hippocampus's creative process of connection making, like a gardener experimenting with new arrangements of familiar flowers. Your hippocampus also contains something remarkable called place cells, neurons that fire when you're in specific locations. These cells create cognitive maps of your environment, but they also map the spaces of your memories. When you remember a particular place, these neurons fire in patterns that recreate the spatial context of your experience. Your hippocampus doesn't just remember what happened. It remembers where it happened, creating a geography of memory that grounds your experiences in space and time. Time cells work alongside place cells, creating a temporal framework for your memories. These neurons fire at specific intervals, creating an internal clock that helps your hippocampus organize experiences in sequence. Together, place cells and time cells create what neuroscientists call cognitive maps, not just of physical space, but of the conceptual landscape of your life. These maps are remarkably flexible. Your hippocampus can create maps of imaginary spaces, of plans for the future, of abstract concepts. When you imagine walking through your childhood home, your hippocampus activates many of the same neurons that would fire if you were actually there. When you plan tomorrow's activities, your hippocampus creates a cognitive map of future time, laying out the sequence of experiences you hope to have. This ability to map both real and imagined experiences is what allows your hippocampus to contribute to creativity and problem solving. In the garden of your mind, your hippocampus can plant seeds of possibility alongside seeds of memory, tending to both with equal care. The solutions to problems you've been working on, the creative projects you've been developing, the relationships you've been nurturing, all of these benefit from the hippocampus's ability to create new connections between existing memories. As you rest here in the peaceful darkness, your hippocampus is also processing the emotional code. Lanning, it allows you to benefit not just from your own experience, but from the accumulated wisdom of generations. When you learn from others' stories, when you apply lessons from history to current challenges, when you build upon the discoveries of those who came before you, all of this is mediated by your prefrontal cortex's remarkable ability to navigate temporal landscapes. As you rest here now, feeling the gentle embrace of evening settling around you, your prefrontal time traveler is preparing for its own journey into the mysterious realm of sleep, where the normal rules of time and space give way to the fluid logic of dreams, and where the boundaries between memory and imagination dissolve into something altogether more mysterious and profound. As you settle into the embrace of approaching sleep, your mind prepares to enter the most mysterious art studio in existence, realm where dreams are painted on the canvas of time itself. Soon, your consciousness will slip into this nocturnal gallery, where your brain becomes both artist and curator, creating impossible masterpieces that blend the pigments of memory with the light of imagination. Dreams are time's poetry, written in the language of neurons and emotions. When you dream, your brain doesn't follow the linear rules of waking time. Instead, it creates a temporal canvas where past, present, and future can occupy the same space, where childhood memories can dance with tomorrow's possibilities, where the laws of physics bend to accommodate the deeper truths of your psyche. The science of dreaming reveals something profound about the nature of time and consciousness. During REM sleep, when your most vivid dreams occur, your brain enters a state that neuroscientists describe as controlled hallucination. Your visual cortex becomes active even though your eyes are closed. Your motor cortex fires even though your body is paralyzed. And your emotional centers light up like a symphony of feeling. You are, in essence, living in a world painted entirely from the neural patterns of your own mind. This dream world operates on what we might call emotional time rather than chronological time. In dreams, the duration of events depends not on clocks, but on the intensity of feeling they evoke. A dream conversation might feel like it lasts for hours, while entire dream narratives can unfold in the space of minutes. Your brain's temporal lobe, which normally keeps strict track of sequence and duration, relaxes its grip on linear time, allowing for the fluid, impressionistic experience of dream time. The prefrontal cortex, your brain's executive center responsible for logic and critical thinking, becomes less active during dreams. This reduction in analytical thinking is what allows dreams to be so beautifully illogical. In dreams, you can be simultaneously yourself and someone else. You can be in multiple places at once. You can experience events that violate the laws of physics without questioning their impossibility. Your brain's inner artist is free to paint without the constraints of rational thought, but this apparent chaos has its own deep order. Dreams are not random neural noise, but purposeful creations that serve important functions for your psychological and emotional well-being. They are your brain's way of processing the day's experiences, integrating new memories with existing knowledge, and exploring possible futures. When you dream, you are literally watching your brain create art from the raw materials of your life. The hippocampus, that seahorse-shaped memory center we visited before, plays a crucial role in dream creation. During sleep, it replays the day's experiences, but not in their original form. Instead, it recombines elements from different memories, creating novel scenarios that feel familiar yet strange. A dream might combine the face of a childhood, friend with the setting of your current workplace and the emotions from a recent conversation, creating a new narrative that explores themes and connections your waking mind might never have considered. This recombination process is like a master painter mixing colors on a palette. Each memory provides a different hue: the warm gold of a summer afternoon, the cool blue of a moment of sadness, the vibrant red of excitement, the soft green of peaceful contentment. Your dreaming brain blends these emotional colors in ways that create entirely new shades of experience, new ways of understanding the themes that run through your life. The temporal canvas of dreams also allows for what neuroscientists call memory consolidation, the process by which temporary memories become permanent parts of your neural architecture. During dreams, your brain strengthens the connections between neurons that encode important experiences while allowing less significant memories to fade. It's as if your sleeping mind is both painting new pictures and also carefully maintaining the masterpieces already hanging in the gallery of your memory. Dreams often feel prophetic or meaningful because they reveal patterns and connections that your conscious mind might have missed. When you dream about a solution to a problem you've been working on, or when you dream about someone you haven't thought about in years, your brain is making connections across time that can lead to genuine insights. The famous stories of scientific discoveries made in dreams, from Kekil's benzene ring to Tesla's alternating current, reflect the real creative power of the dreaming mind. The emotional content of dreams is particularly rich and complex. The limbic system, which processes emotions, remains highly active during REM sleep, often more active than during waking hours. This is why dreams can feel so emotionally intense, why you might wake from a dream feeling profoundly moved by events that never actually happened. Your brain is painting with pure emotion, creating experiences that can be more emotionally vivid than many waking experiences. The temporal fluidity of dreams also allows for a unique form of problem solving. In dreams, you can experience multiple possible futures simultaneously, explore different approaches to challenges, and work through emotional conflicts in a safe, imaginary space. Your dreaming mind can try out different scenarios, test different responses, and explore different aspects of your personality without real-world consequences. It's as if you have access to a temporal laboratory where you can experiment with time itself. The visual imagery of dreams draws on the same neural networks that process waking vision, but with some fascinating differences. A primary visual cortex, which processes basic visual information, is less active during dreams, while higher-level visual areas remain very active. This means that dreams rely more on visual memory and imagination than on the detailed processing of actual visual input. Your brain is painting from memory and imagination rather than from direct observation. This is why dream imagery often has a particular quality, vivid and emotionally resonant, but sometimes lacking in fine detail. You might dream of being in your childhood home and recognize it instantly, even though the details might be inconsistent with your waking memories. Your brain is painting the emotional essence of the place rather than creating a photographic reproduction. The narrative structure of dreams also reflects the temporal flexibility of the sleeping mind. Dreams rarely follow the logical sequence of waking life. Instead, they unfold according to emotional logic, thematic connections, and associative links. You might dream of walking through a door and finding yourself in a completely different time and place, or you might dream of having a conversation with someone who transforms into someone else mid-sentence. These transitions, which would be jarring in waking life, feel perfectly natural in dreams, because your brain is following the deeper patterns of meaning and emotion rather than the surface logic of chronology. The colors and textures of dreams also have their own unique qualities. Many people report that dreams have a particular visual quality, sometimes hyperreal and vivid, sometimes soft and impressionistic. This reflects the different ways your visual cortex processes information during sleep. Without the constant input of external visual stimuli, your brain has more freedom to create its own visual experiences, often resulting in imagery that is more emotionally saturated than ordinary sight. Dreams also serve as a bridge between the conscious and unconscious mind. Jung called dreams the royal road to the unconscious, and modern neuroscience supports this poetic insight. During dreams, the usual barriers between different levels of consciousness become more permeable. Memories, emotions, and insights that might be inaccessible during waking hours can surface in dreams, painted in symbolic form on the canvas of your sleeping mind. The recurring themes in dreams often reflect the deep patterns of your psychological life. If you frequently dream about being late or unprepared, your brain might be processing anxiety about performance and responsibility. If you dream about flying or falling, you might be exploring themes of freedom and control. These dream themes are like recurring motifs in a painter's work, variations on essential themes that reflect the artist's deepest concerns and aspirations. The fragmented nature of dream memory also reflects the unique way your brain processes information during sleep. The brain regions responsible for forming and retrieving memories work differently during dreams, which is why dreams often feel so vivid while you're experiencing them, but quickly fade upon waking. It's as if your brain is creating beautiful paintings in watercolors that begin to run and blur as soon as you try to capture them in the harsh light of waking consciousness. But this fragility is also part of This is your brain's beautiful architecture of time at work. In your prefrontal cortex, neural networks are constantly weaving together the threads of when. Scientists call it your time perception network, a symphony of brain regions that includes your suprachiasmatic nucleus, your cerebellum, and your basal ganglia, all working together to create your personal relationship with the flowing river of moments. Feel your breath now, in and out. With each breath, you are experiencing what neuroscientists call the specious present, that brief window of about 2 to 3 seconds, where past and future dissolve into the pure experience of now. Your brain cannot actually experience an instant. Instead, it creates this flowing window, this moving present that slides along the river of time like a gentle current dot within this current. Your neurons are performing an elegant dance. In your brain's default mode network, memories are surfacing and submerging like stones in a stream. Your medial prefrontal cortex is connecting these memories to your sense of self, weaving them into the continuous story of who you are. Meanwhile, your posterior cingulate cortex is creating the feeling of being here, now, in this moment, anchored to the present even as your mind drifts. Think of how memories feel different depending on their distance from this moment. Recent memories, what you had for breakfast, the last conversation you had, these feel close and clear, like objects on the near bank of your river. But older memories, from years or decades past, have a different quality. They feel dreamlike, impressionistic, like images glimpsed through morning mist on distant water. This is because your brain stores memories not as perfect recordings, but as patterns of connection that change each time you remember them. Every time you recall a memory, your neurons fire in slightly different patterns, influenced by your current mood, your present understanding, your evolved perspective. Your memories are living things, flowing and changing like the river itself. Hippocampus acts as both librarian and storyteller, filing away the experiences of today while retrieving the stories of yesterday. But it does something even more remarkable. It creates what scientists call time cells, neurons that fire at specific intervals, creating an internal clock that helps you navigate the river of time. These cells mark the rhythm of your experiences, the beat of your mental music. As you settle deeper into this moment, notice how your brain is also reaching forward, creating currents that flow toward tomorrow. Your prefrontal cortex is constantly generating what neuroscientists call prospective memory, the ability to remember, to plan for future moments that haven't arrived yet. Right now, even as you rest, your brain is preparing for tomorrow's awakening, laying down the neural pathways that will guide you through future nows. This forward-flowing current of consciousness is one of humanity's most remarkable gifts. While other animals live primarily in the present, occasionally drawing from memory or preparing for immediate needs, your brain can project itself across vast stretches of time. You can imagine yourself next week, next year, even decades from now. You can feel emotional connections to people not yet born, to moments not yet lived. But here's the beautiful paradox. Even as your mind travels through time, your body remains anchored in the present. Your heart beats now. Your lungs breathe now. Your skin feels the temperature, the texture of your sheets, the weight of your blanket, all now. Your nervous system is constantly sampling the present moment, sending millions of signals per second to your brain, creating the rich sensory foundation upon which all your time-traveling consciousness rests. Feel this anchoring now. The weight of your body against the bed, the rhythm of your breathing, the steady pulse of your heart. These are your connections to the eternal present, the still point around which all the rivers of time flow. In meditation traditions, this is called presence, the art of letting your awareness rest in the flowing. Now, rather than being carried away by the currents of past and future, your brain's relationship with time is intimately connected to your emotions. When you're anxious, your amygdala speeds up your perception of time, making minutes feel like hours as you wait for something stressful to pass. When you're in flow states deeply absorbed in creative work or play, your sense of time shifts dramatically. Your brain reduces activity in the default mode network, and suddenly hours pass in what feels like minutes. Love does something similar to time. When you're with someone you care about, your brain releases oxytocin and dopamine, neurochemicals that alter your time perception. Moments of connection feel both eternal and fleeting, as if time itself is responding to the depth of your attention and care. This is why the present moment, this now in which you're resting, is so precious. It's not just a point on a timeline. It's the only place where life actually happens. The past exists only in the neural patterns of your memory. The future exists only in the imagined possibilities of your planning mind. But this moment, this breath, this heartbeat, this is where you actually live. As you continue to rest here, imagine your consciousness as a calm observer sitting by the river of time. Memories float past like autumn leaves, some bright and colorful, others more faded, all carrying their own stories. Future possibilities drift by like clouds reflected in the water, some clear and defined, others shifting and changing with each passing moment. You don't need to grab at these flowing experiences. You don't need to hold on to the memories or chase after the future possibilities. You can simply watch them flow past, appreciating their beauty, while remaining centered in the peaceful now of your breathing body. Your brain is designed for this kind of peaceful observation. When you're not actively thinking or planning, your mind naturally settles into what neuroscientists call the default mode, a state of relaxed awareness where your neural networks can rest and restore themselves. This is when your brain does its most important housekeeping, consolidating memories, processing emotions, and preparing for tomorrow's experiences. In this default mode, your glymphatic system, your brain's waste removal network, becomes more active. Cerebrospinal fluid flows more freely through your neural tissues, washing away the metabolic debris that accumulates during waking hours. It's as if your brain is a river cleaning itself, carrying away the sediment of the day's thinking while leaving the streamed clear and fresh. This cleaning process is deeply connected to your sleep cycles, to the natural rhythms that will soon carry you into dreams. But even now, In this peaceful state between waking and sleeping, your brain is beginning its nightly restoration. Your neurons are shifting from the busy networking of active thought to the deeper rhythms of rest and recovery. Yourself settling into this natural rhythm, this ancient pattern that connects you to every human who has ever lived. For thousands of years, our ancestors have ended their days this way, lying down as darkness falls, letting their minds settle into the peaceful flow of approaching sleep. Your brain carries the wisdom of all those countless nights of rest, the genetic memory of how to let go and trust the natural cycles of consciousness. The river of time continues to flow, but you are no longer swimming against its current. You are floating now, trusting the water to carry you where you need to go. Your breathing has become the rhythm of the river itself, steady and sure, marking the passage of moments without urgency or effort. In this floating state, the boundaries between past, present, and future begin to soften. You are simultaneously the child you once were, the adult you are now, and the elder you may become. All these versions of yourself exist in the flowing present of your consciousness, connected by the continuous thread of your awareness. This is the gift of the present moment, not just a single point in time, but a flowing space where all of time converges. Here, in the gentle current of now, you can rest in the fullness of your being, connected to the vast river of existence that flows through all things. Your breath continues, steady and peaceful, carrying you deeper into the calm waters of approaching sleep. The river of time flows on, but you are no longer watching from the banks. You have become part of the current itself, part of the eternal flow that connects all moments, all experiences, all the countless nows that make up the beautiful complexity of being alive. And as you drift deeper into this peaceful current, you begin to sense something else flowing alongside, the quantum whispers of possibility itself, the fundamental uncertainties that dance at the very heart of existence. As you settle deeper into the embrace of approaching sleep, imagine yourself as an architect of the invisible. Tonight, while your body rests in perfect stillness, your mind becomes a master builder, constructing the most intricate and beautiful structures ever conceived. Your memories. Picture, if you will, a vast library that exists within the soft curves of your brain. This is no ordinary library with shelves of books and dusty corridors. Instead, it is a living, breathing cathedral of experience, where each memory exists as a delicate thread of light, weaving itself into the grand tapestry of who you are. The walls of this sacred space are not made of stone or wood, but of neural pathways that pulse with gentle electricity, each one a road traveled by your thoughts. In this moment of quiet transition between waking and sleeping, you are witnessing one of nature's most profound miracles. Dreams that remain hidden during the bright light of waking consciousness. Your circadian rhythm is also deeply connected to your emotional well-being. The same pathways that regulate your sleep-wake cycle also influence your mood, your stress response, and your ability to cope with life's challenges. When your circadian rhythm is healthy and synchronized, you tend to feel more emotionally stable, more resilient, and more capable of experiencing joy and contentment. When it's disrupted by shift work, jet lag, or simply by staying up too late too often, you may find yourself feeling more anxious, more irritable, or more susceptible to depression. This connection between circadian rhythms and emotional health is not coincidental. Many of the same neurotransmitters that regulate sleep, serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine, also play crucial roles in mood regulation. When your sleep-wake cycle is disrupted, these neurotransmitter systems can become imbalanced, affecting not just your sleep quality, but your overall emotional state. Understanding this connection can be deeply comforting. Those times when you feel emotionally fragile or overwhelmed, particularly in the evening or when you're sleep-deprived, are not signs of weakness or failure. They're simply your body's way of signaling that your circadian rhythm needs attention and care. Like a garden that needs regular watering and tending, your circadian system thrives with consistent, gentle care. As you rest here now, feeling the gentle pull of sleep, you're not just ending your day, you're participating in one of nature's most fundamental processes. Your circadian rhythm is preparing to guide you into the restorative world of sleep, where your body will repair and rejuvenate itself, where your mind will process the day's experiences, and where your dreams will weave together the threads of memory and imagination into the rich tapestry of your inner life. The symphony of your circadian rhythm plays on, even as your conscious awareness begins to fade. Throughout the night, your master clock will continue to conduct the orchestra of your body's functions, adjusting hormone levels, regulating temperature, and coordinating the complex dance of cellular repair and regeneration. And when morning comes, this same symphony will gently guide you back to wakefulness, ready to begin another day in the eternal rhythm of light and darkness, activity and rest that has shaped life on our planet for billions of years. As sleep draws closer, you might wonder what mysteries await in the landscape of dreams, where the logical rules of waking life give way to the strange and wonderful logic of the sleeping mind. In the quiet sanctuary of your resting mind, something extraordinary is beginning to unfold. As your breathing deepens and your muscles release their hold on the day, your brain transforms into a theater of infinite possibility. The curtain rises on tomorrow's stage, and in the soft spotlight of your imagination, future moments begin their gentle rehearsal. Your brain is not simply resting as you lie here in the peaceful darkness. Instead, it is actively preparing for tomorrow, weaving scenarios like a playwright, crafting scenes for an elaborate performance. This is one of the most remarkable abilities of human consciousness, the capacity to step forward through time and explore the landscape of what might be. Scientists call this process prospective memory and future thinking. But these clinical terms hardly capture the poetry of what your mind is accomplishing. Right now, as you settle into rest, your prefrontal cortex, that master conductor behind your forehead, is orchestrating a symphony of neural activity that allows you to travel into tomorrow without leaving the comfort of today. The neural networks responsible for this temporal journey are the same ones that help you remember your past. When your brain imagines the future, it draws upon the vast library of your experiences, recombining memories in new and creative ways. Like an artist mixing colors on a palette, your mind blends fragments of yesterday to paint pictures of tomorrow. Consider the simple act of planning to meet a friend for lunch tomorrow. As you contemplate this future event, your brain activates remarkably similar patterns to those that fire when you remember meeting that same friend last week. The hippocampus, that seahorse-shaped architect of memory, lights up with activity as it constructs the scene. Your visual cortex generates images of the restaurant. Your auditory cortex anticipates the sound of conversation, and your emotional centers prepare for the warmth of connection. But your brain's rehearsal of tomorrow goes far beyond conscious planning. Even as you drift toward sleep, neural networks continue their quiet preparation, running through scenarios you haven't even consciously considered. Your brain is like a chess master contemplating moves several steps ahead, exploring the branching possibilities that tomorrow might bring. This process occurs through what neuroscientists call default mode network activity. When your mind is not focused on the immediate demands of the present moment, this network becomes active, creating what feels like a gentle stream of consciousness. During these moments of quiet reflection, your brain naturally turns toward the future, exploring possibilities and preparing responses. The default mode network includes regions scattered throughout your brain, all working together in harmonious coordination. The medial prefrontal cortex, nestled behind your forehead, acts as the director of this internal theater. The posterior cingulate cortex, deep within your brain, helps maintain the narrative continuity of your imagined scenarios. A angular gyrus in your parietal lobe contributes to the rich detail and emotional resonance of your future visions. As these networks activate, they create what feels like a waking dream. You might find yourself imagining tomorrow's important conversation, rehearsing the words you'll say, anticipating the responses you might receive. Your brain is not simply daydreaming. It is engaged in sophisticated preparation, building neural pathways that will help you navigate tomorrow's actual experiences with greater skill and confidence. This rehearsal process serves multiple purposes. First, it allows your brain to anticipate challenges and prepare solutions. When you imagine how you'll handle a difficult situation, you're actually strengthening the neural pathways that will help you respond effectively when that situation arises. It's like a dress rehearsal for life itself, allowing you to practice your performance before the curtain rises on tomorrow's stage. Second, this future thinking helps your brain consolidate learning and make connections between different pieces of information. As you imagine how you'll apply something you learned today to tomorrow's challenges, you're strengthening the neural networks that encode that knowledge. The act of projection into the future actually helps cement learning in the present. Your brain's ability to rehearse the future is remarkably sophisticated. It doesn't simply imagine events in isolation. Instead, it creates rich, interconnected scenarios that account for multiple variables and possibilities. When you imagine tomorrow's meeting, your brain simultaneously considers the weather, the traffic, the mood of the people involved, and countless other factors that might influence the outcome. This process relies on your brain's remarkable capacity for pattern recognition. Throughout your life, you've experienced thousands of similar situations, and your brain has learned to identify the patterns that predict certain outcomes. When you imagine the future, you're drawing upon this vast database of experience, using patterns from the past to anticipate what might happen next. The emotional centers of your brain play a crucial role in this rehearsal process. The amygdala, your brain's alarm system, helps you imagine and prepare for potentially challenging situations. The anterior cingulate cortex, a region involved in emotional processing, colors your future scenarios with appropriate emotional tones. The insula, which processes internal bodily sensations, helps you anticipate how future events might feel in your body. As you rest here now, you might notice your mind beginning to wander toward tomorrow. Perhaps you're imagining the first moments of waking up, the taste of your morning coffee, the feeling of sunlight through your window. Your brain is gently rehearsing these future moments, preparing the neural pathways that will help you experience them with presence and awareness. This rehearsal happens across multiple timescales. Your brain doesn't just imagine tomorrow. It also prepares for next week, next month, next year. The further into the future you project, the more abstract and general your imaginings become. Tomorrow's lunch might be vivid and detailed, while next year's possibilities appear as broad themes and directions rather than specific events. The quality of your future thinking changes throughout the day and across different states of consciousness. During active waking hours, your future planning tends to be more focused and goal-oriented. But as you relax into rest, your brain's rehearsal becomes more fluid and creative. The boundaries between realistic possibility and imaginative exploration begin to blur, creating a rich tapestry of potential futures. This creative aspect of future thinking is particularly important for problem-solving and innovation. When your mind is relaxed and open, it can imagine solutions that your focused, analytical mind might miss. The rehearsal theater of your resting brain becomes a laboratory for creativity, where new ideas can be born and tested in the safety of imagination. Your brain's rehearsal of tomorrow also helps regulate your emotions and maintain CNT of your day. The hippocampus works closely with the amygdala and other limbic structures to encode not just what happened, but how it felt. This emotional encoding is crucial for learning and adaptation. Memories with strong emotional content, both positive and negative, are more likely to be consolidated and retained, like flowers that bloom more brightly in the garden of your mind. But the hippocampus doesn't just preserve emotional memories. It also helps regulate them. Through its connections with the prefrontal cortex, your hippocampus can help put difficult experiences into context, integrating them into the broader narrative of your life. This is one of the ways that time can heal emotional wounds, not by erasing them, but by helping them find their place in the larger garden of your experience. The hippocampus is also remarkably plastic, capable of growing and changing throughout your life. Physical exercise, learning new skills, and experiencing novel environments all promote the growth of new neurons in the hippocampus. It's as if your brain's garden responds to cultivation, flourishing when you provide it with the right conditions. For growth. Stress, on the other hand, can inhibit the growth of new neurons in the hippocampus, like drought conditions that make it difficult for new plants to take root. This is why chronic stress can affect memory formation, and why practices that reduce stress like meditation, gentle exercise, and adequate sleep are so important for maintaining a healthy hippocampus. The garden metaphor also captures the seasonal nature of memory. Just as gardens have cycles of growth and dormancy, your memories have their own seasons. Some memories remain vibrant and accessible, like evergreen plants that stay fresh year-round. Others fade and return, like perennial flowers that disappear for months before blooming again. Still others seem to lie dormant for years before being triggered by a familiar scent, sound, or sight that brings them rushing back to consciousness. This seasonal quality of memory is not a flaw, but a feature. Your hippocampus doesn't try to keep every memory equally vivid. That would be overwhelming and impractical. Instead, it prioritizes memories based on their emotional significance, their relevance to current goals, and their connections to other important memories. The memories that matter most to you are the ones that continue to bloom in the garden of your mind. As you continue to rest here, feel the gentle activity of your hippocampus as it tends to today's experiences. Each moment of your day, from the feeling of water on your skin in the morning shower to the last thoughts before you lay down to sleep, is being carefully processed, connected, and prepared for integration into the vast network of your lives. Memories. The hippocampus works with remarkable efficiency, but also with a kind of wisdom that recognizes the importance of rest. During sleep, when the constant input of new experiences slows down, your hippocampus can devote more energy to consolidation and connection making. It's as if the garden needs quiet time to do its deepest work, when the gardener can focus on nurturing rather than constantly planting new seeds. This is why sleep is so crucial for memory and learning. Without adequate rest, your hippocampus cannot complete its nightly tasks of consolidation and connection making. The experiences of today remain like seeds scattered on the surface of the garden rather than being properly planted and tended. But when you give your brain the rest it needs, you allow the hippocampus to work its quiet magic, transforming the raw material of experience into the rich soil of memory and wisdom. The hippocampus also plays a crucial role in your sense of continuity, the feeling that you are the same person who lived through yesterday's experiences and who will wake up tomorrow with your memories intact. This continuity is not automatic. It requires the constant work of memory consolidation and retrieval. Your hippocampus maintains the threads that connect your past self to your present self, ensuring that your identity remains stable even as you continue to grow and change. In the deepest sense, your hippocampus is the guardian of your personal history, the keeper of the stories that make you who you are. It tends the garden of your memories with infinite care, ensuring that the experiences that matter most to you are preserved and nurtured. It creates the connections that allow you to learn from the past and imagine the future. It provides the spatial and temporal framework that allows you to navigate not just the physical world, but the conceptual landscape of your life, as you drift deeper into the peaceful state that precedes sleep. Trust in the wisdom of your hippocampus. Let it do its quiet work of tending the garden of your mind, knowing that tomorrow you will wake with today's experiences woven into the rich tapestry of your memories. The seeds planted today will continue to grow, eventually blooming into insights, understanding, and wisdom that will guide you through future experiences. And as your hippocampus works through the night, it will discover something remarkable, that the garden of memory is not separate from the quantum field of possibility that surrounds and permeates all existence. In the gentle darkness that cradles you now, imagine yourself as a witness to one of the universe's most extraordinary phenomena. Within the soft sanctuary of your skull, billions of neurons are engaged in a symphony of communication that transcends the boundaries of time itself. These microscopic messengers, each no wider than a whisper, carry within their delicate structures the power to bridge yesterday and tomorrow, weaving the fabric of your consciousness from threads of electrical poetry. As you settle deeper into the embrace of approaching sleep, consider the remarkable truth that your brain is not simply a collection of cells, but a universe unto itself. Each neuron in your mind is like a star in a vast constellation, connected to thousands of others through pathways that shimmer with the light of understanding. These connections, called synapses, are the sacred spaces where thoughts are born, where memories take root, and where the future is quietly sculpted from the clay of experience. Tonight, as your conscious mind releases its grip on the day's concerns, your neurons continue their eternal dance of communication. They speak to each other not in words, but in the ancient language of electricity and chemistry, sending messages across microscopic distances that might as well be galaxies. Each electrical impulse that travels along a neural pathway carries with it the essence of a moment, a feeling, a fragment of knowledge that contributes to the vast mosaic of who you are. The beauty of your neural networks lies not just in their complexity, but in their remarkable ability to change and adapt. This quality, known as neuroplasticity, transforms your brain from a static repository of information into a living, breathing landscape that reshapes itself with each passing moment. Like a river that carves new channels through stone, your thoughts and experiences continuously sculpt new pathways through the terrain of your mind, creating roots that connect the wisdom of yesterday with the possibilities of tomorrow. Picture, if you will, the moment when a new memory forms. A single experience, perhaps a conversation that moved you, a sunset that took your breath away, or a sudden insight that illuminated a long-standing puzzle, sends ripples of electrical activity cascading through your neural networks. These ripples follow pathways that have been carved by countless previous experiences, but they also have the power to create new connections, to strengthen existing ones, and to weave fresh patterns of understanding into the tapestry of your consciousness. As you breathe slowly and deeply, imagine following the journey of a single thought as it travels through your brain. It begins as a spark of electrical activity in one neuron, a microscopic lightning bolt that carries the essence of an idea. This spark races along the neuron's axon, that delicate fiber that serves as the cell's own private highway, until it reaches the synapse, that sacred gap between one neuron and the next, where the magic of communication truly happens. At the synapse, the electrical signal transforms into something even more remarkable, a chemical message. Neurotransmitters, those molecular messengers of the mind, are released into the synaptic gap like seeds scattered by the wind. They drift across this microscopic space, carrying with them the coded information of your thoughts, emotions, and memories. When they reach the receiving neuron, they bind to special receptors like keys fitting into locks, and the electrical signal is reborn, ready to continue its journey through the vast networks of your consciousness. This process, repeated billions of times each second, creates the rich inner world of your experience. Each thought you think, each emotion you feel, each memory you recall is the result of this intricate dance of electricity and chemistry playing out in the hidden depths of your brain. The neurons that fire together in response to a particular experience create a kind of neural signature, a unique pattern of activity that can be reactivated later, allowing you to remember not just the facts of what happened, but the feelings and sensations that accompanied it. The remarkable thing about your neural networks is their ability to exist simultaneously in multiple temporal dimensions. While your conscious mind moves through time in a linear fashion, experiencing each moment as it unfolds, your neurons are constantly bridging the gap between past and future. They hold within their connections the accumulated wisdom of every experience you have ever had, while simultaneously preparing to respond to experiences yet to come. Consider how your brain anticipates the future based on patterns learned from the past. When you reach for a familiar object, your neurons fire in patterns established by countless previous reaching movements, allowing your hand to find its target with unconscious precision. When you recognize a friend's voice on the phone, your auditory cortex activates neural pathways carved by previous conversations, enabling instant recognition. These are not just memories being recalled, but the past actively shaping your present perception and preparing you for future encounters. The neurons in your brain are also remarkably democratic in their organization. Unlike a computer with its rigid hierarchies and central processing unit, your brain operates through distributed networks where information flows freely between different regions. The visual cortex shares its insights with the emotional centers, which in turn communicate with the areas responsible for memory and decision-making. This constant crosstalk between different brain regions creates the rich, multidimensional quality of human experience, where a single moment can simultaneously trigger memories, emotions, sensations, and thoughts. As you rest here in the growing darkness, your neurons are engaged in a particularly profound form of temporal bridging. The process of memory consolidation, which occurs most actively during sleep, involves the strengthening of synaptic connections that were formed during your waking hours. The experiences that mattered most, those touched by emotion, meaning, or significance, see their neural pathways reinforced and integrated into the broader networks of your long-term memory. This nightly renovation of your neural architecture is guided by a wisdom that transcends conscious decision-making. Your brain somehow knows which connections deserve strengthening and which can be allowed to fade. It identifies the patterns that will be most useful for navigating future challenges and ensures that these neural pathways remain robust and accessible. In this way, your sleeping brain is not just preserving the past, but actively preparing you for the future. The temporal nature of your neural networks becomes even more fascinating when you consider how they enable you to imagine scenarios that have never actually occurred. The same pathways that store memories of real experiences can be recombined and rearranged to create vivid mental simulations of possible futures. When you plan for tomorrow, daydream about distant goals, or worry about potential challenges, your neurons are drawing upon the archives of yesterday to construct the possibilities of tomorrow. This capacity for mental time travel is one of the most remarkable features of human consciousness. Your neurons can activate patterns associated with past experiences and project them forward, allowing you to mentally rehearse future scenarios and prepare for challenges that may never actually materialize. This ability to live simultaneously in multiple temporal dimensions, remembering the past, experiencing the present, and anticipating the future, is what gives human life its rich emotional complexity and strategic depth. The conversation between your neurons transcends not only time, but also the boundaries of individual experience. Through language, art, and shared activities, The patterns of neural activity in your brain can influence and be influenced by the neural patterns in other minds. When you share a story, laugh at a joke, or feel moved by a piece of music, you are participating in a vast network of human consciousness that spans across individuals and generations, in the quiet of this moment. As your body relaxes and your mind prepares for sleep, you are connected to this larger web of human experience through the simple act of neural communication. The patterns of activity in your brain echo patterns that have occurred in countless other minds throughout history, and they will inspire new patterns in minds yet to be born. Your neurons are not just the carriers of your individual consciousness, but participants in the ongoing conversation of human understanding. The electricity that flows through your neural networks is the same fundamental force that powers the stars, drives the weather, and animates all living things. In your brain, this cosmic energy has been refined and organized into patterns of extraordinary complexity and beauty. Each electrical impulse that travels along your neural pathways carries with it the potential to create new understanding, forge new connections, and open new possibilities for growth and transformation. As you drift toward the deeper states of sleep, your neurons continue their patient work of integration and preparation. They strengthen the connections that will serve you well, allow unnecessary patterns to fade, and create the neural foundations upon which tomorrow's experiences will build. This process of neural housekeeping is as natural and necessary as breathing, ensuring that your mind remains flexible, adaptive, and ready for whatever challenges and opportunities the future may bring. The dance of your neurons is both ancient and eternal, connecting you to the deepest rhythms of life itself. In the microscopic spaces between your brain cells, the fundamental mystery of consciousness plays out moment by moment, transforming the raw material of experience into the rich tapestry of human awareness. And as you surrender to sleep's embrace, you carry with you the quiet confidence that comes from knowing your mind is a masterpiece of neural architecture, bridging time itself with every pulse of electrical activity. In the soft darkness that surrounds you now, your neurons pulse with the steady rhythm of life, carrying the dreams of yesterday forward into the infinite possibilities of tomorrow, where even the nature of consciousness itself awaits further exploration. Rest your fingertips gently against your forehead, just above your eyebrows. Beneath your skin, beneath the curve of bone, lies one of the most extraordinary structures in the known universe, your prefrontal cortex. This quiet region of your brain, no thicker than a folded napkin, possesses a power that seems almost magical, the ability to travel through time. Not in the way of science fiction, but in something far more profound and beautiful, the capacity to reach backward into memory and forward into possibility, weaving past and future into the tapestry of your present moment. Your prefrontal cortex is evolution's masterpiece, the most recently developed part of your brain and the region that makes you distinctly human. While other animals live primarily in the immediate present, responding to what their senses tell them in each moment, you possess this remarkable time-traveling companion that allows you to step outside the confines of now and explore the vast landscapes of when. Imagine your prefrontal cortex as a skilled navigator standing at the helm of a ship, chart spread before them, plotting courses through the mysterious waters of time. This navigator doesn't just respond to the wind and waves of the present moment. They study the patterns of past storms, anticipate the changing tides of tomorrow, and guide your ship of consciousness through the temporal currents with wisdom, earned through countless journeys. As you settle into this moment of rest, your prefrontal cortex is quietly at work, performing its evening ritual of temporal housekeeping. Like a librarian organizing the day's collected experiences, it sorts through the memories you've gathered, deciding which ones deserve permanent storage and which can be gently released. This process is not mechanical or cold. It's deeply personal, influenced by your emotions, your values, and your dreams for tomorrow. Your prefrontal time traveler works through networks of neurons that span across your brain like an intricate web of golden threads. These connections allow it to reach into your hippocampus, where memories are stored like treasures in a vast underground vault. It can access your amygdala, where emotions color your recollections with the warm hues of joy or the cool shadows of sadness. It communicates with your motor cortex, allowing you to imagine moving through future scenarios with such vividness that your brain actually practices the neural patterns you might need. This ability to mentally time travel is so fundamental to your human experience that you rarely pause to marvel at its extraordinary nature. When you remember the taste of your grandmother's cooking, your prefrontal cortex is guiding you on a journey backward through time, reconstructing not just the flavor, but the warmth of her kitchen, the sound of her laughter, the feeling of being loved and cared for. When you plan next week's schedule or dream about a vacation you'd like to take, your prefrontal cortex is launching you forward into possibility, allowing you to experience futures that exist only in the realm of potential. But your prefrontal time traveler is not just a passive observer of temporal landscapes. It's an active architect of your future self, constantly engaged in the beautiful work of turning dreams into plans and plans into reality. Each decision you make, each goal you set, each habit you choose to cultivate, all of these emerge from the forward-looking wisdom of your prefrontal cortex, your personal time traveler, working tirelessly to create the best possible future for you. Consider how remarkable this process truly is. Right now, as you rest here in this moment, your prefrontal cortex can simultaneously hold awareness of your current, peaceful state while accessing memories of past bedtimes and anticipating tomorrow's awakening. It's like having a wise friend who can stand with you in the present while also sharing stories of yesterday and offering guidance for tomorrow. Your prefrontal time traveler operates what scientists call prospective memory, the ability to remember. This is different from simply recalling past events. Prospective memory allows you to form intentions that will be triggered by future contexts. When you remind yourself to call a friend next week, or to pick up groceries on your way home, or to practice kindness in tomorrow's challenging conversation, you're engaging this remarkable temporal ability. The process works like planting seeds in the garden of your future. Your prefrontal cortex doesn't just store these intentions. It prepares your brain to recognize the appropriate moment for their flowering. It creates neural pathways that will be activated when you encounter the right cues, turning your good intentions into lived realities. This is why you might suddenly remember an important task just as you're passing the place where you can complete it, or why a friend's question might trigger exactly the insight you wanted to share. As evening deepens and your body prepares for sleep, your prefrontal cortex begins to shift its activity in fascinating ways. During your waking hours, it maintains what scientists call executive control, the ability to focus your attention, resist distractions, and make deliberate choices. But as you transition toward sleep, this executive function gradually relaxes. Like a ship's captain stepping back from the wheel as the vessel enters calm waters. This relaxation of prefrontal control is not a failure or weakness. It's a necessary part of your brain's nightly renewal process. As your prefrontal cortex steps back from its demanding job of executive management, other regions of your brain become more active, creating the conditions necessary for memory consolidation, emotional processing, and creative insight. It's like a busy CEO stepping away from their office so that the deeper work of the organization can proceed undisturbed. But even as your prefrontal cortex relaxes its executive grip, it doesn't stop being your time traveler. Instead, it enters a different mode of temporal navigation, one that's more fluid and creative. The rigid boundaries between past, present, and future begin to blur, creating the conditions for the strange and wonderful temporal landscapes of dreams. In this state, your prefrontal cortex becomes less like a strict navigator, following precise charts, and more like an artist painting with the colors of time itself. Your prefrontal time traveler is also deeply connected to your sense of identity and continuity. It's the part of your brain that maintains the thread of you across time. The awareness that the person who fell asleep last night is the same person who woke up this morning, who will face tomorrow's challenges, and who will continue to grow and change throughout your life. This continuity is not automatic. It's an active creation of your prefrontal cortex, weaving together the scattered moments of your experience into a coherent narrative of selfhood. This narrative weaving function of your prefrontal cortex is particularly active during quiet moments like this one. As you rest here, your brain is engaged in the essential human work of making meaning from experience. It's connecting today's events to larger patterns in your life, finding threads that link your past experiences to your present understanding and future aspirations. This is why quiet reflection often leads to sudden insights or the resolution of problems that seemed intractable during the busy activity of the day. Your prefrontal time traveler also plays a crucial role in what psychologists call autobiographical reasoning, the ongoing process of constructing a coherent life story from the scattered events of your experience. This is not just about remembering what happened. It's about understanding why it happened, what it means, and how it fits into the larger narrative of who you are becoming. Your prefrontal cortex acts like a skilled storyteller, finding themes and patterns that transform a collection of random events into a meaningful life story. The temporal abilities of your prefrontal cortex are also intimately connected to your capacity for empathy and social connection. When you try to understand someone else's perspective, your prefrontal cortex doesn't just consider their current state. It travels through time to understand their history, their likely future concerns, and the temporal context that shapes their experience. This temporal empathy allows you to connect with others, not just as they are in this moment, but as complete beings with their own rich histories and hopeful futures. As you continue to rest here, feeling the gentle pull of sleep, your prefrontal cortex is beginning its nightly shift toward the more creative and fluid modes of temporal navigation that characterize the sleeping mind. The careful, logical sequencing of daytime thought is giving way to the more intuitive and associative patterns that will guide you through the night's journey of dreams and restoration. This transition is not abrupt but gradual, like watching the sunset over a vast landscape. Your prefrontal cortex slowly reduces its active monitoring and control, allowing other regions of your brain to take center stage. But even as it steps back, it doesn't disappear. It remains present, like a trusted guide who knows when to lead and when to follow, when to speak, and when to listen to the deeper wisdom of the unconscious mind. Your prefrontal time traveler is also remarkably adaptable, capable of learning and changing throughout your entire life. Unlike other regions of your brain that reach their peak development in childhood or adolescence, your prefrontal cortex continues to grow and strengthen well into your 20s and beyond. This extended development period means that your capacity for temporal navigation, your ability to learn from the past and plan for the future, can continue to improve throughout your life. This neuroplasticity of your prefrontal cortex is one of the most hopeful aspects of human neuroscience. It means that the mistakes of your past don't define your future, that the neural pathways carved by old habits can be reshaped by new choices, and that your capacity for wisdom and temporal navigation can continue to deepen with each passing year. Your prefrontal time traveler is not just a passive observer of time. It's an active participant in creating the future you desire. The evening quiet is particularly conducive to this kind of prefrontal reflection and planning. As the external demands of the day recede, Your prefrontal cortex has the space to engage in the deeper work of temporal integration, connecting today's experiences to yesterday's wisdom and tomorrow's possibilities. This is why many people find that their best insights come during quiet moments of reflection, when their prefrontal time traveler has the freedom to explore the vast landscapes of memory and possibility without the pressure of immediate decisions. Your prefrontal cortex also plays a crucial role in what scientists call temporal discounting, the ability to weigh immediate rewards against future benefits. This is the neural mechanism that allows you to choose the long-term benefit of a good night's sleep over the immediate pleasure of staying up late, or to invest effort in learning new skills that will benefit you months or years in the future. Your prefrontal time traveler is constantly making these temporal calculations, helping you choose paths that honor both your present needs and your future aspirations. As you settle deeper into this moment of rest, you might notice how your prefrontal cortex is already beginning to plan tomorrow's journey. Not in the anxious, urgent way of daytime planning, but in the gentle, intuitive way of evening reflection. It's setting intentions for tomorrow's awakening, preparing neural pathways for the challenges and opportunities that await, and creating the conditions for tomorrow's version of yourself to emerge, refreshed and ready. This forward-looking aspect of your prefrontal cortex is particularly beautiful during the transition to sleep. As your conscious awareness begins to fade, your prefrontal time traveler is working behind the scenes to prepare for tomorrow's journey. It's consolidating today's learning, integrating new experiences with existing knowledge, and setting the stage for tomorrow's growth and discovery. Your prefrontal cortex is also intimately involved in what psychologists call prospective thinking, the ability to imagine and plan for future events. This is not just about practical planning. It's about the deeper work of envisioning the kind of person you want to become and the kind of life you want to live. Your prefrontal time traveler is constantly engaged in this process of future crafting, using the wisdom of the past and the possibilities of the present to sculpt the clay of tomorrow. As sleep draws nearer, your prefrontal cortex begins to collaborate more closely with other regions of your brain, creating the conditions for the night's journey of dreams and restoration. The clear boundaries between different types of thinking begin to blur, creating space for the more fluid and creative forms of temporal navigation that characterize the sleeping mind. This collaboration is like a skilled conductor gradually handing over the baton to different sections of the orchestra, allowing each to contribute their unique voice to the night's symphony. Your prefrontal cortex doesn't disappear during sleep. It becomes a more subtle presence, a gentle guide that helps orchestrate the complex processes of memory consolidation, emotional integration, and creative insight that occur during the night's journey. The wisdom of your prefrontal time traveler extends beyond individual navigation to encompass the broader patterns of human wisdom and cultural learning. Through its connections to memory and dreams, beauty, and function. Dreams are not meant to be permanent fixtures in your memory, but rather temporary explorations, provisional sketches that allow your brain to work through ideas and emotions without committing them to permanent neural pathways. They are the brain's way of thinking out loud, of exploring possibilities without the weight of lasting consequences. The hypnagogic state, that drowsy border between waking and sleeping, is where some of the most interesting dream art is created. In this liminal space, your brain begins to relax its grip on logical thought while still maintaining some awareness of the external world. The images and ideas that emerge during this transition often have a particularly creative quality, as if your mind is sketching the first rough outlines of the dreams to come. As you drift towards sleep, your brain is preparing its palette for the night's artistic work. The experiences of your day will provide the raw materials, the colors, textures, and emotional tones that will be blended into new creations. Your memories will serve as reference points, your emotions as the energy that drives the creative process. and your imagination has the brush that applies paint to the temporal canvas of your dreaming mind. The dreams you are about to experience will be uniquely yours, created from the specific constellation of memories, emotions, and neural patterns that make up your individual consciousness. No one else will dream exactly the same dreams, because no one else has lived exactly the same life, formed exactly the same memories, or developed exactly the same neural connections. Your dreams are as personal and unique as your fingerprints. Yet they also connect you to the universal human experience of sleeping, dreaming, and creating meaning from the raw material of existence. Trust in the wisdom of your dreaming mind as you surrender to sleep. Your brain knows how to paint these nocturnal masterpieces, how to blend the colors of memory with the light of possibility, how to create new understanding from the elements of your lived experience. In the gallery of your sleeping mind, time becomes art, and art becomes a deeper way of knowing who you are and who you might become. And as you begin to dream, you may discover that the canvas of time itself is woven from something even more fundamental, the quantum threads of consciousness that connect all minds across the vast space of possibility. There comes a moment in every day when time itself seems to soften, when the urgent tick of seconds dissolves into something more fluid and forgiving. You are entering that sacred threshold now, where the linear march of minutes and hours gives way to the eternal present of sleep. Here, in this liminal space between waking and dreaming, your consciousness encounters one of the most profound mysteries of human experience, the transformation of time from a river that rushes past into a gentle lake that holds all moments in its depths. As you settle deeper into rest, notice how your relationship with time begins to shift. The clock on your nightstand continues its mechanical counting, but your brain is gradually releasing its grip on chronological time. The urgency that drives your waking hours, the need to be somewhere, to accomplish something, to move forward through the day's agenda begins to dissolve like sugar in warm water. In its place emerges a different kind of temporality, one that mystics and philosophers have long recognized as the eternal present. Your brain, that magnificent conductor of consciousness, is orchestrating this temporal transformation with exquisite precision. Throughout your waking hours, your prefrontal cortex has been your timekeeper, constantly monitoring the passage of moments, planning future actions, and maintaining your sense of existing in a coherent timeline. But as sleep approaches, this vigilant guardian of chronological time begins to step back, allowing other, deeper rhythms of consciousness to emerge. The transition into the eternal present of sleep is like watching a master painter gradually blend the sharp edges of daylight into the soft gradations of twilight. Your brain waves, which have been dancing in the quick, alert patterns of beta and gamma frequencies throughout the day, begin to slow into the longer, more rolling waves of alpha and theta. These slower rhythms create a different kind of temporal experience, one where moments stretch and expand, where the boundaries between past, present, and future become beautifully blurred. Imagine your consciousness as a skilled surfer who has spent the day riding the sharp, choppy waves of waking awareness. As evening deepens, these waves begin to lengthen and smooth, allowing your awareness to glide more peacefully across the surface of experience. You're no longer fighting to maintain your balance on the quick-breaking waves of immediate attention. Instead, you're settling into the long, gentle swells of deeper consciousness. This transformation is not unique to humans. It's a fundamental rhythm that connects you to the deeper patterns of life itself. Throughout the natural world, creatures, large and small, undergo similar transitions from the time-driven urgency of waking activity to the timeless restoration of rest. The flower that closes its petals at dusk, the bird that tucks its head beneath its wing, the tree that slows its sap flow with the evening cool, all are participating in this universal shift from chronological time to what we might call biological. Time, sacred time, eternal time. But your human experience of this transition is uniquely rich and complex. Your brain, with its remarkable capacity for consciousness and memory, doesn't simply shut down its temporal awareness during sleep. Instead, it transforms it, creating new kinds of temporal experience that are impossible during waking hours. The eternal present of sleep is not an absence of time. It's a different kind of time entirely, one that operates by its own mysterious logic. As you drift deeper into this eternal present, your brain begins to engage in what sleep researchers call temporal consolidation, a process of weaving together the scattered threads of your daily experience into the larger tapestry of your life story. But this is not the linear, chronological processing of waking thought. Instead, it's a more holistic, intuitive form of temporal integration that can connect events separated by years or decades, finding patterns and meanings that escape the sequential logic of daytime consciousness. Think of your sleeping brain as a master weaver working with threads of memory, emotion, and meaning. In the eternal present of sleep, this weaver is not constrained by the rigid rules of chronological order. A memory from childhood can be woven together with yesterday's experience and tomorrow's hope, creating new patterns of understanding that transcend the limitations of linear time. This is why you might wake from a dream with a sudden insight that connects seemingly unrelated aspects of your life, or why a problem that seemed intractable during the day might suddenly reveal its solution in the gentle wisdom of morning. Your experience of the eternal present is also intimately connected to your brain's remarkable ability to exist in multiple states simultaneously. While your conscious awareness settles into the peaceful present moment, different regions of your brain are engaged in their own temporal journeys. Your hippocampus is replaying memories from the day, but not in the order they occurred. Instead, it's reorganizing them according to emotional significance and potential future relevance. Your prefrontal cortex, though quieter than during waking hours, continues its gentle work of connecting past experience to future possibility. This multiplicity of temporal experience within the eternal present is like a symphony where different instruments are playing in different keys and tempos, yet somehow creating a harmonious whole. Your brain doesn't experience time as a single, unified flow during sleep. Instead, it experiences multiple temporal streams simultaneously, each contributing to the rich complexity of your sleeping consciousness. As you continue to sink into this eternal present, you might notice how your body, too, begins to experience time differently. The circadian rhythms that govern your physiology create their own temporal landscape, one where cellular repair happens on a schedule measured in hours, where growth hormone release follows its own precise timing, where body temperature cycles through its gentle waves of rise and fall. These biological rhythms create a temporal foundation that supports the more ethereal aspects of your sleeping consciousness. Your breathing, too, becomes part of this eternal present. As it slows and deepens, each breath becomes a complete world unto itself, a beginning, a middle, and an end that somehow contains eternity. The ancient practice of meditation recognizes this temporal quality of breath, using it as a gateway to the eternal present that mystics have long understood as the deepest truth of existence. In sleep, you naturally enter this meditative state, where each breath is both a moment in time and a doorway to timelessness. The eternal present of sleep is also a space of profound healing and integration. During your waking hours, your brain must constantly choose between competing demands for attention, creating a kind of temporal fragmentation where you're always partially somewhere else, planning the next task, remembering the previous conversation, anticipating future challenges. But in the eternal present of sleep, this fragmentation dissolves. Your brain can finally exist fully in the present moment, using this unified attention to engage in the deep work of restoration and renewal. This Healing quality of the eternal present is not just psychological, it's profoundly physiological. Your immune system, freed from the temporal pressures of daytime vigilance, can focus its resources on cellular repair and regeneration. Your cardiovascular system can slow its pace, allowing your heart to rest between the gentler rhythms of sleep. Your endocrine system can recalibrate its delicate balance of hormones, preparing your body for tomorrow's challenges while honoring the restoration needs of today. The eternal present of sleep is also where your creativity finds its deepest expression. During waking hours, your creative faculties are constrained by the logical, sequential demands of conscious thought. But in the eternal present, these constraints dissolve. Your brain can make connections across vast temporal distances, linking childhood memories to current projects, ancient wisdom to modern challenges, forgotten dreams to emerging possibilities. This is why so many creative breakthroughs occur during sleep or in the liminal moments between sleeping and waking. As you rest here now, feeling the gentle embrace of this eternal present, you're participating in one of the most fundamental aspects of human consciousness, the capacity to exist both in time and beyond time simultaneously. Your awareness of existing in this present moment coexists with your brain's deeper engagement with the timeless realm of restoration and renewal. You are simultaneously the person who has lived through this day and the person who will wake tomorrow. Yet you are also something more, a consciousness that transcends the boundaries of any single moment. The eternal present of sleep is also a space of profound surrender. Throughout your waking hours, you maintain the illusion of control over time, scheduling your activities, managing your calendar, rushing to meet deadlines. But in the eternal present, you must surrender this illusion and trust in the deeper wisdom of your unconscious mind. This surrender is not a defeat. It's a recognition that there are rhythms and patterns larger than your conscious will, and that sometimes the most profound growth and healing happen when you stop trying to control time and allow time to carry you. This surrender to the eternal present is also a form of trust in your body's wisdom, trust in your brain's capacity for restoration, trust in the fundamental benevolence of existence itself. As you release your grip on chronological time, you're allowing yourself to be held by something larger and more nurturing than your individual will. You're recognizing that you are part of rhythms and cycles that have been operating for millions of years, and that these rhythms know how to care for you better than your conscious mind ever could. The eternal present of sleep is also where your deepest learning takes place. While your conscious mind learns through repetition and analysis, your sleeping mind learns through synthesis and integration. In the eternal present, experiences that seem disconnected during waking hours can suddenly reveal their hidden connections. Lessons that your conscious mind struggled to understand can be integrated into your deeper wisdom through the mysterious alchemy of sleep. This learning that occurs in the eternal present is not just cognitive, it's emotional, spiritual, and somatic. Your body learns new patterns of relaxation and restoration. Your emotional system learns to process and integrate difficult experiences. Your spiritual awareness deepens its connection to the mystery and wonder of existence. All of this learning happens in the eternal present, where the artificial boundaries between different types of knowledge dissolve into a more holistic understanding. As you drift deeper into this eternal present, you might notice how your sense of identity becomes more fluid and expansive. The roles and responsibilities that define your waking identity, parent, professional, partner, friend, begin to soften and blur. In their place emerges a deeper sense of self that is both more personal and more universal. You are simultaneously the unique individual with your particular history and dreams, and you are also part of the larger human story, connected to all beings who have ever experienced the mystery of consciousness. This expansion of identity in the eternal present is not a loss of self. It's a recognition of your true nature as both individual and universal, temporal and eternal, separate and connected. You are like a wave on the ocean that suddenly recognizes itself as both wave and ocean simultaneously. The eternal present of sleep is where this recognition becomes not just intellectual, but experiential, where you can actually feel your connection to the larger patterns of existence. The eternal present is also where your relationship with memory becomes transformed. During waking hours, memories are often experienced as fixed recordings of past events, separate from your current experience. But in the eternal present, memories become alive and fluid, capable of being reimagined, reintegrated, and renewed. Painful memories can be softened by the healing presence of the eternal now. Joyful memories can be deepened and enriched by their connection to your current peace. All memories become part of the living tapestry of your present experience. This transformation of memory in the eternal present is one of the most healing aspects of sleep. Traumatic experiences that felt overwhelming during waking hours can be gradually integrated and transformed through the gentle alchemy of eternal presence. The rigid patterns of thought and emotion that seemed so fixed during the day can be softened and renewed in the fluid space of sleeping consciousness. As you continue to rest in this eternal present, you might also notice how your connection to the future becomes transformed. Rather than the anxious anticipation or goal-oriented planning of waking consciousness, the eternal present offers a different relationship with tomorrow, one of gentle readiness and open possibility. You're not trying to control or predict the future. Instead, you're creating the conditions for the future to emerge naturally from the wisdom and peace of the present moment. This peaceful relationship with the future is one of the great gifts of the eternal present. It allows you to release the burdens of worry and anxiety that often accompany thoughts of tomorrow. Instead of seeing the future as a series of problems to be solved or goals to be achieved, you can experience it as a natural flowering of the present moment's seeds of peace and wisdom. The eternal present of sleep is also where your connection to the sacred becomes most immediate and direct. Religious and spiritual traditions throughout history have recognized sleep as a sacred state, a time when the boundaries between the human and divine become most permeable. In the eternal present, you're not just resting your body and mind. You're participating in the sacred rhythm of existence itself, the eternal dance of manifestation and return, activity and rest, form and emptiness. This sacred dimension of the eternal present is available to everyone, regardless of their religious or spiritual beliefs. It's the natural result of consciousness encountering its own deepest nature in the quiet space of sleep. As you rest here now, you're touching something timeless and universal, the peace that underlies all experience, the awareness that remains, constant through all change, the love that connects all beings across time and space. As you sink deeper into this eternal present, feeling the gentle embrace of sleep drawing you into its mysterious depths, you're preparing to enter the realm where time becomes truly fluid, where the boundaries between sleeping and waking, between self and cosmos, between moment and eternity, dissolve into the infinite creativity of the dreaming mind.